Tonight, in our coverage, a global legal campaign takes aim at Israelis accused of war crimes in Gaza. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Elia Batul. The Conservative Party will not allow journalists to travel with leader Pierre Poilievre during the upcoming federal election. The decision has been announced by campaign director Jenny Byrne. It breaks a long-standing tradition of media embedding with national leaders. Byrne has cited rising travel costs and increased digital access as reasons for the move. She has assured that the campaign would remain accessible and transparent, with reporters given advance notice of Poilievre's events. Other major parties, including the Liberals, New Democratic Party, and Bloc Québécois, will continue allowing journalists to travel with their leaders. Critics accuse Poilievre of avoiding scrutiny. A Liberal spokesperson is questioning why his team wants to hide him from Canadians. Poilievre has had a strained relationship with some media outlets, particularly CBC, which he has vowed to defund. With an election expected in late April or early May, his party has recently seen a dip in polling numbers. A Columbia University doctoral student has fled to Canada after her U.S. visa was revoked. Ranjani Srinivasan, a 37-year-old Indian architect, was set to graduate in May. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security accused her of supporting violence and terrorism, leading to her visa cancellation. Columbia University then withdrew her enrollment. Srinivasan was arrested during Free Palestinian protests at Columbia last spring, but she denied being part of the demonstration. She says she was wading through the crowd heading home when police detained her. Her charges include obstructing traffic and failure to disperse, but both have been dismissed. In a media interview, she describes her fear when ICE agents knocked on her door multiple times. She chose to leave for Canada instead of fighting her case, fearing her legal status was at risk. She says there is a general climate of fear amongst the students. Now in Canada, she fears student visas are at risk for even minor political activism. She says universities should be places for debate. Columbia has not commented on her case. One of Canada's wealthiest families has landed a $8 billion deal for warships that the public never asked for. The deal, first reported by The Breach, was quietly announced on Justin Trudeau's last weekend as Prime Minister. It grants Irving Shipbuilding a 6-year contract to build 3 Navy destroyers. Experts call it vastly overpriced, and by its completion in 2029, it could reach $22 billion. The government says the deal will protect Canada's sovereignty and create jobs. But critics argue it is a massive corporate handout at a time when Canadians are struggling with the cost of living, a crumbling healthcare system, and climate crises. The environmental impact is another concern, with diesel-powered ships threatening fragile Arctic ecosystems. Irving Shipbuilding has a long history of lobbying. Last year, the company representatives met with federal officials 76 times. Irving's worker safety record is also troubling. Multiple fatal workplace accidents in the past have raised alarms. Critics question the lack of public debate on the deal and that the agreement was made behind closed door, benefiting billionaires. At least 27 Palestinians have been killed in overnight Israeli attacks on Gaza. Airstrikes hit multiple tents sheltering displaced people in Khan Yunis and Rafah. Women and children were among the dead. Several others have been wounded. The bombings followed the collapse of ceasefire talks. Palestinian Health Ministry reports more than 400 Palestinians have been killed in just 2 days. 89 women and 174 children are among the casualties. Hamas official Tahir al-Nono says negotiations are still possible, but insists first existing agreements must be honored. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has condemned the strikes, expressing outrage over the deaths. European Union's top diplomat Kaja Kallas calls the situation unacceptable. He is urging Israel halt military operations and allow aid into Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the offensive is only the beginning and future talks will continue under fire. Lawyers have launched a global legal initiative aiming to prosecute Israelis and Israeli dual nationals accused of war crimes in Gaza. The Global 195 coalition is spearheaded by the International Center of Justice for Palestinians. The initiative plans to use both domestic and international courts to target individuals across Israel's military and political hierarchy. At a press conference in London, United Kingdom, the group outlined its strategy, emphasizing that states have routinely neglected obligations under international law to investigate such crimes. The group has already gathered 135 eyewitness testimonies from Gaza. They have documented alleged war crimes including indiscriminate attacks on civilians, destruction of infrastructure, assaults on safe zones, forced displacements, and the use of starvation tactics with the help of former detectives from London's Metropolitan Police. Legal scholars from Bosnia, Canada, Malaysia, Norway, and Turkey are participating in the initiative. In Canada, lawyers associated with the group are specifically focused on prosecuting Canadian nationals and charities that support or fundraise for the Israeli military. Similar legal actions have emerged in recent months. The Hind Rajab Foundation has independently compiled over 8,000 pieces of digital evidence related to alleged Israeli war crimes. U.S. President Donald Trump says that negotiations aimed at ending Russia's war in Ukraine are very much on track. His statement follows an hour-long call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump indicated on his social media platform that much of their discussion focused on aligning requests and needs, following his previous conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He says further details on the discussions will be provided by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Kyiv has agreed last Tuesday to a more comprehensive 30-day ceasefire. However, Trump's attempt to secure Putin's immediate agreement fell short during yesterday's call. Trump indicated negotiations on the broader ceasefire proposal and a full peace deal will nonetheless continue swiftly. The Kremlin, however, cited several major concerns in needing resolution before accepting the proposed 30-day ceasefire. These conditions include ending what Moscow describes as forced mobilization in Ukraine and halting the rearmament of Ukraine's forces. Zelensky maintains that the war could conclude this year with a decent peace agreement, but stresses the need for strong security guarantees for Ukraine. Without these assurances, he warns that Putin will come again with war. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV.